and welcome back to your Irregular Latvian lesson. This is Mysterious Look, because today we are talking about the Latvian tradition of fortune telling on New Year's Eve. Before we start, a big paldies to everyone who is subscribing. I just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It is bananas, as YouTube said in the gift that they sent me. So stick around, because today we're also going to be revealing what the future holds for this channel. The process that I'm going to walk you through today, the fortune telling, is called laimes liešana in Latvian. Laimes liešana. Laimes liešana. So laime means luck or fortune, and liešana comes from the verb liet, which means to pour, which makes sense because in Latvia we use molten metal and sometimes wax to pour our luck. I will explain. I guess the international name for this technique is molybdomancy. And if you Google that, you'll see that we are not the only ones who use this kind of future-telling tradition. In fact, it comes from ancient Greece, some say ancient Rome, maybe both. It was used very commonly to tell the future, not only on New Year's Eve like it is customary where I'm from, but this slowly made its way up to the northern countries, and in the Baltic countries where we very much like the mysterious, it became very, very commonplace. And also, apparently, this tradition was common in the UK and Ireland, where it was used to tell what profession your future husband will have. Traditions are funny things, because they are never exclusive to any one place. Okay, so what metals will you need? You can also use wax, but I find that metal and shiny things is nicer. So if you're in Latvia, then it will be easy for you to find what you need, because you can buy the so-called laimītes, or the little pieces of luck, which are small figurines made out of tin, and usually you should pick out one that corresponds to the Chinese horoscope of the year that you were born. So in my case, for example, I would be piglet or boar. But nowadays it's also very commonplace to take the horseshoe, which symbolizes luck usually, heart, which symbolizes the love, and also the reindeer because Christmas. That is if you are in Latvia. Really, anywhere you go, you probably will find you can buy them online, and also probably in the Christmas market. But if you're not in Latvia, it might be more difficult. In France, for example, this tradition doesn't exist at all. When I went to the Christmas market, the lady looked at me like, but thankfully I live not so far from Germany, and in Germany and Switzerland and Austria, they do have this tradition. So in stores you can buy a special kit, lead-free, since 2018, made for this special occasion, which includes a spoon that you will need for the casting process. And also in this particular set you can see that here you can get something that looks like maybe it is a pig, but also could be a mythical creature, mushroom, a bottle of sect, and also probably, I think that's a bag of money. So yeah, priorities in different countries. The other things that you will need for this process is candle or source of fire and a container of water. So normally they recommend that you use a metal container, so this video is also going to be an experiment to see can you in fact use a glass container and not get water all over yourself and your camera. You're going to take one of your little figurines, melt it in the spoon by holding it over the candle. Once it is molten, you're going to throw it in the water, and then you have two options. You can take the figurine once it's cooled, don't burn. Take it out of the water, and you can either try to look at it and interpret it directly, trying to see shapes in it, or you can hold it to a candle or hold it in front of a candle and then put paper in front of it to see the shadow and try to interpret the shadow. First of all, this is fortune telling. There is no wrong answer. But traditionally there are also many ways to interpret the symbols that you see. Some of the most common are that if you have a bubbly surface on your figurine that you get, it means that you will have a lot of money. If you see a dragon, it probably means that you will have a bébé this year. A heart means that you will have love, marriage and success in the romantic domain this year. But if the shape you get is very fragile and made out of thin, streaky lines, it means sadness is coming your way. A cross means that you will have changes in your life, that you will have to make a serious decision or die. A snake can mean a betrayal, or it can mean that you will have a lot of energy and an active lifestyle this year. And if you get a horse, it means you will have a brand new car this year. And also, Don't worry if you don't like what you get. In order to lift the curse and get everything that you've just predicted for yourself to go away, bury it. It will disappear, like it never happened. Okay, so I will take the monster pig, because it represents me. It is hollow. Note to German figurine makers, in Latvian tradition, this would never be hollow. It would be a whole pig, not a half pig. And also, if you open its butt, you will find that it has a little fortune message inside. And I read an article recently, thanks to actually one of you, Ralf Dreimanis. Thank you, shout out to you, who sent me a lot of articles on fortune telling in the Latvian style. I learned about a man who makes the figurines in Latvia, whose name is Uldis, and who started his business during the Soviet times in 1882. Yes, and I thought it was a really interesting story, so I'll share it. He said that when he had just started his business, the Soviet police was not really happy with what he was doing because they were afraid that these little fortune messages could contain anti-Soviet propaganda. But they don't usually. Usually it's just like, be careful with your spending this year, or be good to your colleagues. And so in an interview that I read, this man said that it went so far as that the Soviet police would actually stop him and check all of his little fortunes to make sure that they did not have anti-Soviet propaganda. And they didn't, and so his business flourished. And so if you're still making laimītes today, all this, great, you should also ship them outside of Latvia. Okay, let's get on. This is my monster pig. Put it in spoon. And also, it is hot here. Okay, it's time. I remember I used to do this as a child, and it was always so nice to see the moment when it melts. Oh. Okay, and then once it's molten, put it in the water. Magic. Good! Okay, so let's see what we got. I see that not a lot of money. So we're going to do the direct interpretation. Okay, to help me read it, I will call expert reader and also my best friend, Anna, from Latvia. So, this is quite an unusual shape. It doesn't look good for me. From one side it looks like the Loch Ness monster with two eyes. And from the other, it looks kind of like a rose. Okay, so if you interpret this as a beret, then it means it's a hat, which means that you will get fame and celebrity this year. However, if this is a rose, it means that I will be hurt by the thorns of love this year. And from the other side, it looks like a
skull. A dinosaur skull.
It means death? Oh God. So one of the most important things to remember is that of course you can read the list of meanings, which I will also put in the description for this video, but I think ultimately it is up to you to see what you see in your fortune. And also upon further inspection we also found that this could be an ear, which means keep your opinions to yourself. Bury this. So now that we've done the traditional way, I also wanted to do something for those of you who do not have access to German decor stores. So there's an alternative for you to do this tradition of fortune telling, also if you do not have a specific fortune figurine. And this alternative is welding wire. So welding wire is something that you use to weld electronics usually. But be careful, because I initially bought this. And in the store they told me that this is tin, but this one, as you can see, has copper coating. So this one will not melt no matter how long you keep it in your flame. It will not melt. So beware. Don't buy welding wire that is made for electronic use, with machines that use electricity to melt it. It no work. However, you can get industrial tin. It comes in little spools like this, and you will be able to tell the difference right away between that what you should not buy and that which you should buy, because this is very hard to bend. I mean, you can bend it, but you will never break it. You need special tools to break this. This, however, you can move up and down and up and down, and at some point it will break off on its own here. So this is 99.3% tin and 0.7% copper. And also it will melt in your spoon. So now we're going to tell the future for this channel. I'm going to make it a bigger one in order to be sure that we get everything that the future holds for us. Let's go. This is the final product. Okay, so there's a horn and there's a giant egg.
And it looks like almost like an eagle face.
Yeah, almost like an eagle.
A little too long snout.
So in the bottom of my water tank, I see a couple of small tiny balls, which means that I will have money this year. And also there's one long dagger type thing, which means that I will be victorious this year. For the biggest part, I have a spike and something that looks like an eagle with a really long snout, and also an egg or a bean. So the eagle means success in career, but it also means marriage, doesn't it? Quite distinct egg, which means that I either will have my family that will grow, or it means that I will have fear of the unknown, which is true, because you know, the project that I'm doing is very new for me, and I've just finished university and I had this idea and it worked, and I don't know where it will go in the future. But I am very excited to have all of you with me who are watching this channel and who are liking the content that I'm doing. So I decided to create a Patreon page, which means that now if you want to, you can support this channel by making a donation on Patreon. I'll leave the link in the description below. And I haven't really figured out how Patreon works, but as far as I know, you can post audio clips for people that have subscribed to you. So I figured I could use this platform to post like little vocabulary audios for you guys, and they will be very, very short, but that way you will actually learn some Latvian. So if this is something that you're interested in, great! I'll see you on my Patreon. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video about laimes liešana. If you do it yourself, also share, please, like with the last time. By the way, I loved seeing all of your puzuri. Some of you are way more talented than I am. Yeah, so please do share. And if you have never done it before, try it. It's a nice activity to do with your friends. But then, okay, real talk. You have to remember that this is still kind of horoscope mythologically based. If you're somebody who does not really believe in fortune telling, like me, think of it this way. If you're not sure what you want to do next year, use this as an opportunity for you to set a goal for yourself, or maybe give you an idea. Maybe if you get a lot of money in your tank, it means that you should start your own business. Or if you get a really nice looking beret, it probably means that if you are in France and doing Latvian lessons on YouTube, that you should continue doing it because people like it. I hope that's the case. Anyway, Happy New Year everyone! Thanks for the support, and uz tikšanos nākamgad. I will explain that in the next year. Bye!